Well, hey, Jim, thank you so much for being with us this morning. It's such an honor. I am a little bit fanboying out inside right now, okay? Just because I've seen the movie 200 times and I love the game of baseball so much. So, we all know that, or for those of us who watch the movie and know who you are and Googled you, that you've played for Tampa.
Yep.
And this last year, Tampa Bay and the Dodgers were in a World Series.
Yes.
So
in Texas.
and in Texas, that's right, where you're from. So who are you rooting for?
You know that's tough, but I was going with Tampa just because
Okay, we need to end this interview right now. No,
they,
I'm just kidding.
they've never won one.
Right.
But I love the people on both. I love the Dodger organization and what they stand for and what they put out.
Right. Right.
But Tampa, I love what they do too, bringing young kids in and who are
Right.
they don't know yet. They're not supposed to be that good, and that makes them even better.
Right.
And so watching that competition, I was cheering for baseball.
That's awesome. Primarily was cheering for the Dodgers, but no, I love baseball as well, and they have some amazing talent. So it was a great series to watch, and I think some Dodgers set some records in that stadium before some Rangers have. So
Yeah.
interesting. Well, Jim, I love your story, and your story is an overcoming story. It's a story of belief, a story of never giving up. For those of us who have watched the movie, there have been some scenes in there where I think we're talking on the phone and maybe even thinking about giving up while you're in, I think, the minor leagues. I'm not sure if it was AAA or AA. What kept you going?
Man, every time I got the bug and I was like, I shouldn't be here. I'm 35. I should be getting out of baseball, not getting into it. I need to be home. I've got 3 small kids. I need to get back and coach. I've got a football and coaching job waiting for me at a great big high school. The guy's keeping my job open while I'm being a kid this summer. God, if this is what you want, you got to give me something. I'm a man, so I'm stubborn, and I want to do it my way.
Right.
And so either give me a sign, and every time, there's 3 different times I wanted to quit, and 2 of those times were absolutely about God, and movie studios aren't going to go there. But those things came through the last time watching the kids play a game. That's also from God. But that's also my heart, because I remember being that kid playing for a hot dog and a Coke.
Yeah.
And just having a good time being a kid. And
Yeah.
so that kept me straight. I also knew that if I'm going to talk the talk and I'm going to tell my kids to go out and chase every dream they have, then I've got to walk the walk.
That's amazing. That's so awesome. I think one of the most emotional, amazing scenes in the movie, at least to me, is when you have that Tampa Bay uniform on and you're in the bullpen, I believe at Rangers Stadium.
Yeah, ballpark.
Yeah, at the ballpark, and you get the call from the dugout to come to the mound in the major league stadium, and the doors of the bullpen open, and it's a wonderful scene. I mean, I probably cried 500 times with that scene. You probably have too, right? What was that scene like for you, or what was that in real life like for you? Excuse me.
Well, I'd thrown 3 days in a row in the AAA playoffs, and I thought, there is no way they're putting me in. I get to enjoy my first day in the big, sitting back with all these guys talking. And in the 8th inning, they're like, warm up. And it's still not clicking, right? Because I'm a guy and you're hard-headed. And so I'm like, oh, they just want me to warm up in front of 40,000. That's cool.
Right.
2 minutes later, I'm in the game. They're like, you're in. I'm like, when I opened the door of that bullpen to make my run to the mound,
Yeah.
it got real,
Yeah.
real quick.
I'd imagine.
And I'm not in my classroom with 30 kids, and I'm not on my baseball field with 60. I am here in front of 40,000 people pitching against the #1 team. And so as I make the run in, I'm seeing all these colors, and I'm hearing all this noise and the smells. You love baseball.
Yeah.
There's popcorn and soda
Yeah.
and gloves and leather and grass and dirt. All that stuff was overwhelming me, and by the time I stepped my spikes onto the dirt at the ballpark, everything had closed in. And I realized at that point, running from the bullpen to the mound, there is not one thing I would change about my journey, because that journey has made me who I am. And good choices, bad choices in between, tough times, it's all there. And right here, I've achieved my dream. And it wasn't for me, it was for those kids.
Wow, so powerful. It's so amazing. I think another powerful part of the movie is just your relationship with your father. and just watching other YouTube videos or Goldcast videos and hearing the stuff that Disney didn't cover, honestly, that you had shared. It touched me. I grew up being verbally abused, mentally abused, not wanted. I think there's so many people who are right now are stuck in house with COVID, who are going through that. What encouraging words do you have for people who are dealing with that today?
Find the best group of people you can be around when you're allowed to be around people. Right now, you got a Bible, open it.
Yeah.
Open it, get in the book, and start reading. A lot of times our answers will come from that. There are times I open it up, and I've opened it up the same place twice, but I see two totally different messages.
Yeah.
And so getting in the book while this is going on, but when you get back out in the world, don't waste your time. Surround yourself with the best people to make you the best you can be. Surround yourself with people who want something as good as you or better, so they lift you up and they don't tear you down.
Yeah.
Because our biggest thing is we can live up to expectation or down to expectation. And if you're living down to somebody else's expectation, they've got you down and they got you where they want you.
Right. That's good.
Why do that? Let's go back up.
Right.
And let's chase those dreams. Let's do the impossible.
Yeah.
Because God says nothing is impossible.
Yeah. That's great. I love it. You're encouraging me already. What would you say in the movie you're encouraging a baseball team? Were you really a chemistry teacher, by the way?
Yeah.
Oh man, I got a D in high school in chemistry.
It's because you're an athlete.
Yeah, it is exactly why I was an athlete. I was jock. Did not care about that at all. So you got brains and you're athletic. That's awesome.
Well, what's funny about that is, in high school, I took the SATs the day after we won a state championship in football.
Okay.
And so I'd heard, if you don't know the answers on the SAT test, just put C.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
And you got a 50-50 shot.
Right.
That's wrong.
Is that right?
That's wrong. And so when the counselor pulls me aside, he goes, "We have your scores here, and I hope you make it in baseball because you're too stupid to go to college."
Right.
And so I believe that too. I bought into that lie because it had been started by my dad, built into the counselor. And then I went to school, and the first professor I had in anatomy said, "You should go to medical school." He goes, "You are that smart." And I'm like,
Wow.
"I am not."
Wow.
He goes, "Dude, your answers were better than the questions I wrote. You absolutely could go to medical school."
Wow.
And so he was also a dream maker at a time when I really, really needed it. So school was easy.
That's awesome. That's great. As I'm talking with you right now, I'm just thinking about those kids that challenged you, even though you were challenging them to grow, to be better, to achieve. What was something that you saw in them that they didn't see in themselves? I think there's so many people, due to the situation today, that are going through things in their emotions. They don't see that they got something. What would you tell them? And going back to what I was originally saying is, what did you see in this group of kids that they didn't see them in themselves?
I wanted them to explore the possibility. I never knew they would do as well as they did, but I wanted to push them to be that good.
Yeah.
And so we learned the game, and we learned everything. We knew what the other team was going to do before they did it. They picked it up. They played great. But I wanted us to become a family.
Yeah.
Basically, I wanted this group of kids to realize I'd been through a lot of the same stuff they're going through.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that everybody has their own story and their own perspective on the way things go down.
Right.
That I'm here for you, I believe in you, and we're going to do this, but we're going to do it the right way, and we're going to do it with class.
Yeah.
And we're not going to be ugly and degrading to anybody. This is not about winning. This is about winning the right way.
Right.
And even if we lose, but we lose with grace,
Yeah.
that's okay with me.
Right.
But my deal with them was never be satisfied. And if you keep dreaming, a bigger and better dream may come along that you didn't even know you had. And that's what I love to tell people. And that's what I told these kids. And that's why none of them played baseball after high school, because they were busy in college.
That's awesome. It's amazing. That's so great. Was the high school the high school that you taught at in real life, was the mascot an owl?
Yeah.
It was. Okay, I'm not sure what's real and what's not with the movie, but that's awesome. Let's talk about baseball a little bit.
Sure.
So what's the deal? How did it how did it happen that you could throw 98, 100 miles an hour after X amount of years?
You know, everybody's asked me that, and they want the formula for it. Even Dr.
Yeah.
Job is joking with me, and he goes, "You're throwing 100, but you have nothing in your shoulder. I don't get it. Tell me what you did."
Yeah.
And I could talk about that stuff all day, but I think at 19 and 20, if I'd have got my dream then, I think I'd have been that spoiled brat who took everything for granted. But at 35, having been through life and having to work from behind, and then having to teach kids and bring up kids and raise my own, your priorities change, and you go, I should be doing this. And
That's awesome.
it's just, you've got to be looking for something better and quit sitting there thinking about what is bad.
Yeah.
We have to even out the scales here and go, all right, right now I've got this, but this is a good time for me to reflect and go, what can I improve on today?
Yeah.
And that's what the deal was with these kids. If we can get better in one phase of the game each day,
That's great.
then it's going to build up our team.
Right. I think I played baseball for 15 years. Definitely not as good as you, obviously. But I think one thing I've learned as I matured in my life, that baseball is a lot like life. And I think that one of the hurdles that athletes go through all the time and people in life go through all the time is life is mental, in the sense of, you make an error on the field. You have to be able to have the ability to get beyond the error, know who you are, believe in your training, and keep on going. I think that's the same thing for life. We make mistakes, we sin, we fall down, we fall short. What is your encouragement for people to stop dwelling on the past or dwelling on the mistakes?
The easiest answer is to go, Jesus died to pay for all of that stuff.
Amen.
And the next thing is just, it's simple. You've got to know what you want, and then you've got to explain it, and then you've got to expand on it, and then you've got to dream it, but then you've got to live it. You know, we can talk about life, or we can go out and live life.
Yeah, that's great.
And we've been taught to go, oh, okay, that's just how it is.
Right.
We don't have to
Right.
be happy with that.
Right. I love that.
We put Jesus out front. I wouldn't want anybody else protecting me.
Right. That's great.
I can do anything,
That's awesome.
and so can everybody else.
That's awesome.
And if he can use somebody like me, and he can use somebody like you, he can use all of us. Because there are good, there are bad, and there are redeemed.
Amen. I love that. Redeemed. Your book is called Dream Makers, and if you're watching today, I would love for you to pick it up. Jim would love for you to pick it up and dream on. What would you say to people right now? I know there's tons of people in our church who have dreams. Obviously, the climate of today is the coronavirus, shelter in place. California, we're going through that right now. People are at home. They're discouraged. They may have been furloughed. Their dreams may have been dashed. How could you encourage people that have such great dreams right now? What would you say to them?
Don't give up. The devil likes to throw a lot of pitfalls in our way.
Yeah.
And it's up to us to cover them up and go, you know what? No, I'm not falling into that pit.
That's great.
When we've got to get busy. Right now, look at this as a time to plan. I've got this dream, and right now I have to sit still. So while I sit still, why don't I put it on paper or on my computer and achieve things? And this is my expectation. Now these are the probabilities, and these are the things that probably will not happen.
Yeah.
And right in the middle, these are the things that could happen if I have the right game plan. And so don't sit still, because when you sit still, other people are passing you by. And when they're passing you by, you've already lost.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, it's been my honor and privilege to sit down with you. It's been great to hear the message today, and you're an inspiration. I love the movie; it's awesome, and what a blessing it is to talk to you today. So thank you so much for your time. God bless you, and may God continue to use you to inspire so many people.
You too, Pastor Michael. Thank you.
Thank you. Awesome.